I have my strong opinions about this, and there's definitely a debate. Some people think that I'm paying way too little. Some people think that I'm totally generous. So we're going to cover all sides of that so that you can come away at the end of this video knowing what's the right amount for you to pay to your team. So the majority of the feedback that I get when I talk about why I hire people in the Philippines and how much I pay, the majority of that is positive, but there is some negative that comes through, and I'm going to share some of those comments with you. We're going to also have a conversation about business and profitability and what's the right structure for your business. And I'll be open with my recommendations and what I'm doing in my business. We're going to start with a really fun comment. Check this one out. He presents himself as a savior for Filipinos and for giving jobs, and he's enriched himself in the process. And they ask the question, why can't he raise their salaries perhaps to $600 or $800? Maybe because he's stingy, a Mr. Scrooge who think the profit margin will suffer. And then he says that $400 is not a fair market wage. So let's see what others have to say. So this Erlinda Fields says, ouch, no benefits, no insurance, no money for retirement. She says, I was in the Philippines and $400 a month is not enough to live. I need $1,000. And then this person, Macolette9711, says, I don't understand why outsourcing companies pay $400 US for the same job that pays $3,000 or more in the United States. But listen to this next part. He says, I bet you're hiring college university graduates with work experience. And just to let you know, the minimum wage in the Philippines is around 15,000 Filipino pesos, which is below 400. And then they said, you even pay for benefits. I don't know exactly what some of those acronyms are, but I'm sure they're different benefits that people have when they're an employee in the Philippines. Okay, now listen to this. What you are doing is modern day slavery. Okay, and just one more comment. So Mike says that $400 is not enough to raise a family. Even if your employees work from home, it won't be enough to cover rent, bills, food, unless you hire kids, or me, unless I hire kids that still live with their parents. So before I respond directly to those comments, I want to show you the comments from my team. These are actual team members that work for me. Americans outsourcing to the Philippines, they don't think that it's fair because they don't think that we pay you a very good amount. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a win-win situation because our economy here is different from yours.
You don't feel taken advantage of?
Well, no. I mean, the pay is okay. I mean, it pays the bills. It's kind of hard to get that kind of pay here.
You actually save a lot from working from home because you don't have to budget anything for your travel expenses. For the food, you can eat at home. So instead of just using your money to buy your food in the restaurants, you save up a lot.
I don't think it's the right word to saving advantage. It's really a great help for us, because for that particular amount, working from home is really a luxury already, and you get to pay for that kind of amount, and you get to buy whatever you need for your children, but never get to leave them. That's really not taking advantage. It's merely a help for us Filipinos.
Now, I love entrepreneurship. I've had this company for almost 14 years now, and I've learned a lot. And I also enjoy looking at other business models and seeing how they do things and why they make certain decisions. So one comparison I like to look at is the restaurant business, which has very low profit margins, but there's a big spectrum of types of restaurants. There's the fast food restaurant, which has lower quality food, but they produce it really fast. They're really efficient. They have really refined systems. I mean, you go to one fast food restaurant, the same restaurant of another chain, it could be states away, it could be on the other side of the world, and their food is prepared the same way. You receive the same type of service. And then on the other end of the spectrum is a really high-end restaurant that has more gourmet food, you get more fine-tuned service. We pay bigger tips there. Tips have kind of made their way into the fast food industry too, but used to not be that way. So I have a question for you. Which business model do you think is more profitable? The fast food restaurant or the high-end expensive restaurant? What do you think? I mean, we want to think that the high-end restaurant is more profitable, right? They're obviously charging a lot more. We might pay $5 or $10 or $15 for a meal at a fast food restaurant versus $30, $50, $70 at a real high-end restaurant, maybe more. When you actually look at the data, the profit margins are actually pretty similar. It's typically around 7, 8, or 9% net profit margin. Now you need to ask yourself, what type of business do you want to create? And don't make your decision too quick, because the high-end restaurant that has better food, is that a good match for what you're really trying to create? We tend to think that is. Ooh, I don't want to create the McDonald's burger. That's not my business. I do high quality. The part that I want you to focus on is systems and efficiency. I love it when you can have high quality, but do it efficiently. You can do it in a way that's replicatable. You've probably noticed there are a lot more chain restaurants or a lot more fast food restaurants that actually have upped their quality. And that's really what I've tried to do in my business. I want to offer the highest quality possible in an efficient way, because the type of services that I create in my company did not exist. Small businesses could not have access to the type of service that I provide on YouTube. I do YouTube production. Only big corporations could have had access to this type of a service because they had huge budgets. And what I've done is found a way of just making things way more efficient, and by hiring people in the Philippines and giving them this opportunity, that's the only way that this model would work. Now let's respond to some of the specific points that they made in those comments. You're right, I'm not providing a retirement. This is an entry-level job. It's like me opening up a franchise of a fast food business and hiring high school students. My daughter works for Domino's Pizza, and the amount that they pay, I mean, they've given her a couple raises, but she's not able to purchase her own house. She still lives at home. She doesn't have insurance or other benefits like that. And she's talked about next year being promoted as a manager, and she'll have more responsibility, a higher pay, but you start out at this entry-level position. Now, I do need advanced skill in my company, and I've attempted to hire people at a higher rate and given them more responsibility. And I've really struggled with that. There hasn't been a match with the difference in geography, me being on the other side of the planet and trying to train and communicate, and hiring the right person is kind of difficult. But what I found great success in is really creating a system, step by step. This is what you do, and hiring somebody that's entry level to start that. Then after they've worked with me for some time and they show that they've got initiative, they show that they've got real commitment, then I can give them additional tasks. And I've promoted them to different leadership positions, and I've given them significant pay raises. From so much trial and error, I've learned that it's really, really hard to hire people overseas for advanced positions. And I'm actually of the mindset that I do not like entitlement. In the United States, there's this big entitlement mindset of when you become an employee, you're then entitled to this and to this and to this and to this. I do not understand unions. I think unions are terrible. I would never want to be a part of one, because I look at a job, I look at a boss who created a company and is ready to hire you. They're providing you an opportunity. It's like, I need this exchange. I need you to do some work, and I'm going to pay you this amount for it. So where does this entitlement come from? If that arrangement is no longer met, then I can quit and I can go get another job. I love hiring independent contractors, and I love the freedom that provides to the independent contractor. And when you hire somebody overseas, they're not US citizens, so that's all they can be. They're not really employees. All right, I want to wrap up with this comment, and I get a lot more comments like this actually than the negative ones. So Selvin Clyde says, most of the people who comment that $400 a month is a slave wage should ask how much ordinary employees in the Philippines are paid at entry level. He says that most of the entry level jobs start much lower than that, with very little prospects of becoming promoted unless you're able to jump to a higher paying job. He says, comment negatively if you want, but the benefits of working from home with a decent wage are huge for many Filipinos who would otherwise have to go overseas and leave their families behind. And when I've talked to my team, and as you saw in some of the comments, that's been my experience as well. Paying $400 or $500 a month is a great blessing to them, and many of them do live with families. There's multiple income earners in the home. It's an entry-level position. There's an opportunity for pay raises. All right, I've got one more thing that I'm excited to show you. Now, this is real. I just did this search, and I found what people are asking for. Like, what wage are they hoping for? Okay, let me show you this to you. Okay, so notice there are 2,408 people. Okay, I'm not showing you all 2,400, but let me just scroll down the list and let you see these. So he's asking for $308 a month, $462, $396 a month, $396 a month, $528 a month, $528, $528. He's offering 12 hours a day though. $374, $440, $440, $330. $264, like only $264 a month. These are all video editors. I just filtered it by video editors. 5 hours a day, but he only wants $110 a month, $352 a month, $264. This is what they're hoping to get. So this resource that I'm showing you here, this is virtualassistanttool.com. You can come here and do searches just like this too.